It's good to see you guys. Excited about this week. The bye was good to us. A lot of energy in practice today. A lot of respect for the team that we're playing. Known Sonny for a really long time. Known Andy for a long time. They're a really good team. They had a tough one on Saturday. They're going to come out firing. It's tough to play at their spot. It's a big challenge for us. We're excited about the challenge. Guys are too. Take any questions you got.
Dave, you guys have had receivers making big plays all season long. Is this the deepest group of receivers
Yes.
since you've gotten here?
Yes. At this stage of the game, you invest. You choose where to invest in, and we invested pretty heavily in that group, and it's paying off.
How healthy are you after the bye? Specifically, Carl, Omar, and Brayson.
Omar's was back with us doing everything that he's supposed to be doing. Who else did you say?
Carl and Brayson.
B-Wash doing everything he's supposed to be doing. Did not see Carl. Have to wait and see with him.
Dave, what does TCU do well? What's their biggest threats, I guess?
They're explosive on offense. When they don't turn the ball over, they are really effective at making explosive plays. And, they've got receivers that can make contested catches. They've got receivers that can catch the ball, make a guy miss, and go the distance. And quarterback is really calm and poised. He can beat you with his feet. I think the O-line's improving. I think the running backs, they've got a committee over there, but they're all very good players. And I think defensively they do a lot. They pressure you. There's a game plan of the week that they got, and it's going to be a challenge for us to run the ball versus all the movement that they got.
With those receivers that you brought in, was yard after the catch, was that something that y'all saw in them that could be because it's been really good in terms
Yeah. There's we tried to find complementary pieces to it. So there's you want to spread the field, and so you want to have the attention of more than one on one of ours. And sometimes that's going to be quick, explosive guys. Other times that's going to be longer speed, contested catches. When it got to that point, it was, hey, let's take the best player available. But we wanted someone that is going to demand a double team and is going to demand cloud coverage, is going to demand an extra guy so that we could get all of them on the field at one time and, go by the numbers.
Coach, a lot of programs talk about winning the bye week. What specifically makes this bye week good for y'all? How would you constitute a win?
We did a lot of self-scout, and so we had our defensive staff do it for our offense and vice versa. And our special teams kind of assistants did for special teams, and spent the majority of the week on that. So, here, these are the tells that we're giving up. Here's all the weaknesses. Here's the strengths. All right, here's some possible places to go, kind of what you've shown on tape. Right, here's a way to kind of complement that look or to remedy the problem, So a lot of time on that. And then the drill work last week corresponded with that. So here's the issue, here's the problem, here's the solution, here's how we're going to do it. Let's go rep it. And so the majority of last week was all about us. So transitioning now to this week, it's kind of, hey, this is how it fits into what they do. This is where we can live in this area or in this phase of the game. So we're trying to connect it now.
Y'all were really good out of the bye week last year, and you mentioned that energy that you felt in practice today. Are there any similarities in the energy you feel now compared to kind of how you felt coming out of the bye weeks last year?
Well, I think what's similar is that the guys are hungry. I thought last year was kind of us against the world. It's kind of maybe that way still, but I think it's guys are hungry. Guys want to improve. They're looking for ways. They want to be coached. They want more. They want better. And so when it's like that, it kind of drives you as a coach to give it to them.
Connor Hawkins has now hit a couple of game-changing kicks. How have you seen him grow as a player, maybe in confidence and just as a player? Has your confidence kind of grown in him throughout the year?
Yeah, his confidence has been strong, and it's been that way really since the start of camp. I think prior to that, there's good days and bad days, but there's times where, I talk to Mark Scott, and I go, and Mark's, I don't know about this distance, and then he gets next to Connor, he goes, hell yeah, we got this distance. And then Connor just has those vibes that come off of him when he's in a position to make a big time kick, and so that's contagious, as we know, and we have a lot of confidence in him moving forward, and it's a big weapon for us. We go for it so much on fourth downs that sometimes all of that kind of gets swept under the rug, but when you need it, you really need it. I'm glad he's with us.
You get a little extra family time in a bye week?
My boy had a game, and so I went to go watch him play on special teams, and it was a good game. We had a couple recruits there and was able to watch them. But not as much, a lot of film time to be able to make the most of this week. You got to do all the legwork this past week. But it was nice to be able to have that time, though, with him. The drive to, he wanted to listen to all of his music on the drive to get hyped up. And so all that was cool to go to experience.
Dave, in the self-scout, was there specific things on defense that y'all saw that you can get better at, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we're getting a bunch of just irregular formations and motions and kind of things that fit kind of outside the box. I think you'll think Oklahoma State, but there's just different versions of that. TCU's been in the past a team that can very much do that. Up to this point this year, they haven't done that. We're fully expecting for them to do that versus us. And so to kind of have that knowledge and then to work on it and spend the time on it gives you the best chance come Saturday morning.
Has any of the guys who have been here and now gone through this rivalry for a few years, kind of what's their conversations like with guys who maybe this will be their first time, and what this game really means to just Baylor in general?
Yeah, it is. It's a big recruiting rivalry. We have a bunch of former players that this means a lot to. Our guys that are on our team now remember last year. We got a fair amount of guys that remember a couple of years ago, when it was a field goal the other way. And so a lot of really tight games, competitive games. It's tough to play there. They're fired up for this one.
Coach, a lot has been made about starting fast. You yourself have talked about complementary football on both sides of the ball. 11 a.m. kick. How are y'all making sure your guys are ready to go, or has that come from within?
We talk about that a lot. Talked about it again today. We make a point of starting practice with some type of competition or good versus good. I think it's a mindset that you got to carry. The start fast thing really is that, hey, it's like when you run out to a game and there's smoke and you have to run through the smoke. You don't know what's on the other side of the smoke. Starting fast is running through the smoke, right? If it's all clear, you get to know kind of where to go. You're not going to run into somebody. You're not going to be the dude that causes a whole trample situation, right? But you got to run through the smoke. You don't know what's on the other side. That's starting fast. And so really feeling confident in what the schemes are and what their job responsibilities are, no matter what comes or whatever game plan thing comes our way, we're able to kind of play through it. So that's been the emphasis. We're going to continue to try to get that done.
Do you want the emotion of a rivalry game, or do you want them to block that out?
I think it's good to have. I think if it's always kind of underneath the surface of just real kind of focus and intensity and work and everything else, I think it's good. When it's kind of boiling underneath the surface, it's a good feeling because you know it's there, you know it's pushing people. I very much feel that way, and I'm sure over there they feel the same way. So this is a big one coming up.
The fan support of the last two home games maybe hasn't been the best. How important as you begin this next stretch is the fan support, and I don't know, do you have a message for those fans to kind of get them hyped up?
Yeah, for us, like the focus is really this game coming up, and so there's some players this morning. They were bringing up, watching games and seeing all of it, and I kind of jumped on them, man. Hey, we're on the road. We're playing this team. It's going to take everything we got, right? This is where teams fall off and teams separate, and we're all about separating. I know they're saying the same thing over there, so this is going to take everything we got to be able to go out there and play well. And then we do that, come on back here, we can talk about what you're talking about here.
Dave, Sawyer's never been a me guy,
Mm-hmm.
and this is probably not a fair question to ask, but with the numbers that he's put up, should he be in the Heisman conversation?
I think he's going to continue to win. I think he's going to continue to be in moments where he's going to shine. I think so. Yeah. I think, I don't think there's going to be a moment that's going to be too big for him. And I think this team is going to fight for him, and they're not going to let him down. And I think you put him in a situation where there's a chance to win it, he's going to win it. And so I think it's only going to get bigger.
Getting back in the building today after the bye week, does it seem like the guys maybe are just a little bit refreshed? And I mean, just how ready are they to get back on the field too?
I think that's a good word. I thought I could feel that right from the very beginning. We had chapel to start off today, and so there's a lot of energy there. Guys are excited to be back. I think having the time off or just the chance to kind of exhale is good. A lot of work to do, and so they're all excited to get to it.
Back to Sawyer, as his profile kind of rises, has he changed?
No. I just don't believe he ever will. Yeah, I think he's special. I think we can't take him for granted. I think his impact on our team and on our players, on our student body here, you can't measure. And I think he's all of that. And the best is yet to come for him too.
They're different people, but can you make some comparisons with Joe Burrow and what you saw from him that year?
When Joe was your quarterback, you always felt like you were in it. You always felt, hey, give him a chance. I think Joe had really good weapons. We do too. I think those two things. I think Joe's a little bit of a different guy, and everyone loves Joe. And so Sawyer and Joe personalities probably different ends of the spectrum. But in terms of competitor, in terms of being up here all the time, watching tape and putting time in, and in terms of having weapons and being able to get the ball to them and use them the right way, I think those things are right on. Okay.
Thank you,
guys.
Dave.
Ask about your receivers, who I'm sure you're happy to talk about. They make a lot of big plays for you all year. Just how much easier do they make your life?
Yeah, I mean, way easier. It's not just like the big plays where it's like the 50-50 balls. Even just getting them a ball on like a slant and then making a guy miss, getting an extra like 10, 15 yards makes all the difference in the world for me. And it's just it's nice to have that continuity with them. Even on the 50-50 balls, just being able to throw it up and having the confidence they're going to come down and get it right. At the end of the day, that's my job, is just allow those guys to make plays, get the ball out of my hands and into their hands. And we've been pretty successful at that so far this season. So, yeah, they make my life just way easier being able to throw them the ball.
You mentioned them making guys miss and getting more yards. Like, so many of them are new to the team this year. Did you see that from the very outset, that they had a lot of yard after catch kind of ability?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of something that we worked on in the offseason too, where it was like last year I'd throw balls even to like Josh or Trig, and it would be a little behind them or low, and they'd have to go down and get it, and they'd get tackled right when they got it. And so that was like a point for me of emphasis this offseason, is just like put it on their face mask, let them catch it, and make a guy miss. And we did that in the spring. And to your question, that's kind of when we first saw it, where it was like, well, like we have something there with these guys. And we've been able to do that up to this point in the season. And it's like it's every single one of them that has gone in and played has made a huge play like that for us.
Do you feel refreshed after the bye week? Like how much better does this team feel kind of after the first week off?
Great. Yeah, no, I think getting to rest, not waking up Sunday morning, Monday morning being sore, stiff, all the stuff is huge. And I think we still got some good work in last week, things we need to improve on, new stuff. All of that. So, yeah, I think the bye week was huge for us. And I do feel refreshed.
That's pretty
Yeah.
Sawyer, were there specific things that you worked on? You mentioned that about, were there specific things like that you worked on in the off season and getting ready for this year?
Yeah, a lot of it was the throwing stuff, technique. Because like I said, at the end of the day, my job is to get the ball in their hands. They're the ones who are making all the crazy plays. And so the more that they have the ball and the less that I have the ball, the better off we are. And so just being sharp with the offense. Second year in the offense with Spav. Spav does a great job getting me prepared each and every single week. And so just getting locked in on all my checks, where my eyes are, being able to manipulate defenders with my eyes, all of that stuff. And then just putting the ball, like just working technique, lower body, everything throughout the off season, and it's paid off this first half of this season.
Coach Aranda said there was an emphasis again this week on starting fast, 11 a.m. kick, obviously a rivalry game. How do y'all go about doing that, or have y'all talked about doing that?
Yeah, we have, and I think the 11 a.m. kicks. I think we've done a pretty good job of that this season so far. I know we played SMU early, and then Samford was the other one, and then K-State this last week, and so. It helps that we practice in the morning, so we wake up and play football. And so that's kind of what you see with the 11 a.m. kicks. You just wake up and play, and just being able to do that, do a walk around the hotel, play some music, get going. I think that helps a lot. And then you just wake up, play football, and then get the rest of your Saturday. So just being able to do that again, like I said, this will be the fourth time we play an 11 a.m. kickoff, so hopefully we kind of have a good rhythm for it now.
NFL game last night, Jared Goff almost had a touchdown catch. Sorry, Zach. He's a Lions fan. But if you ever got that chance where you got one of your receivers thrown to you, could you make a play?
I believe so. Yeah, absolutely. And not just that, but like my locker is right next to Josh and Trig, and so we've been working on our touchdown dances too. And so hopefully I'll hit one of those too after Josh or somebody throws me one. But yeah, that was a cool play.
You're being talked about on the national stage. I mean, you said before you kind of dreamed of this. Now that you're kind of here, how do you deal with the fame, the notoriety that comes with the position you're in?
I mean, no different than if it was any other day or year or anything like that. Because, I mean, I think you guys have touched on it. Like, it just kind of comes with the territory of being a quarterback. But like those guys are the ones that are making the plays so much more like we, and that's why it's like the best sport ever. Is it's such a team-oriented sport, right? Like if the linemen aren't protecting, I can't do my job. If the receivers aren't getting open, I can't do my job. If they're both doing their job and I can't get them the ball, like none of it matters, right? It has to be 11 guys working as a unit, and that's when you have all the success, and that's when like the individual accolades come. And so I mean, it's been great just because, I get to go in on Saturday after we win and just celebrate with the team. And that's one of the best feelings ever. And so just trying to get to that point each and every single week is something that I look forward to.
you've now been around this rivalry against TCU for a while now. I guess just kind of what does this game mean to you, and maybe what's kind of your message to some of the guys who this will be their first time playing in this?
Yeah, it's fun. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot of history with it. Obviously TCU is a good team. Like, they're going to be ready to play. They're really talented, really well coached, and so I think for a lot of the young guys, first time experiencing it, if us as older guys and leaders don't have them prepared, it's gonna be a rude awakening for us. And so just being able to get that message across that, hey, these guys are gonna be ready to go, and so we need to match it or be better, and so just kind of that's the message going into it, because it is a fun game, it's a fun rivalry, a lot of history there, like I said earlier, and so we got to be ready to play.
You talked about your connection with Michael Trigg after the game, sometimes just throwing it up to him, hoping he makes a play. I mean, didn't y'all get a shout out like on EA Sports college football? I mean, have you seen some of that publicity that y'all are getting on that, and what does he mean to you in that pass game?
Yeah, he's awesome. I mean, I think yeah, I'm not gonna take a whole lot. Like, I was in the video obviously, but I just threw he was the one that did all the crazy stuff, and so I'm not gonna take a whole lot of credit for that. But yeah, he's awesome, great teammate. Like I said, his locker's right across from mine, and so just getting to talk to him. He's come to our Bible study since week 2, and so just getting that connection going. That's how it is with a lot of the guys. Just great teammates, really really close locker room on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, but. I'm obviously really tight with Trigg, as well as all the other receivers. And so just having him and seeing how much he's grown since he first got here has been really cool for me.
How many times have you watched that play? And do you get excited every time?
I don't know how many times I've watched it. More than once, for sure. But every time it is kind of it's just wow, what an incredible. And then I saw a picture and he had 3 fingers on it. And you're just like, dude, what in the world? Is that something you practice? I don't know. Some people are just God-given ability. Yeah, and so very impressive.
We see those plays that Trigg makes on the field.
Yeah.
As someone who's been here with him since he's been here, how has he grown off the field as a person? Because I think Coach Aranda said earlier that he's more trusting than he was when he first got here. How has Trigg grown off the field from your perspective?
Yeah. One, I think he's always been a good teammate. Everybody in the locker room's always loved him. And so he's been great to all of us. But I think, like I kind of said earlier, we do our player-led Bible study, and he came week 2 and hasn't missed one since. And so just kind of like that stuff I think's been really cool, and that's away from football, right? That's something that you look back on years down the road, and it's man, that was cool that we got to do that. And like I said, it's all player, it's all of us together. I think that's what kind of plays into us having a really close locker room. There are no coaches in there, anything like that. But just kind of stuff like that, where it's wow, what a cool moment. Just taking a step back from football and looking at it from that lens. And then there's other stuff he came over to my house in the summer. We grilled burgers. We had a bunch of guys over, so just getting to hang out, play video games, that kind of stuff.
Who leads the Bible study, and what are y'all going through?
So we did. It was we're talking about Joseph right now. Genesis, and Michael Allen is the one who kind of gets all the videos and stuff together. We watch a video, and then we break off into small groups. Small groups are 5 dudes. We have a list of questions that Mike puts together, and so there's probably about 5 or 6 guys that lead a small group. We get about 35, 40 guys that show up each Tuesday night, and so it's pretty cool. Yeah.
How good a coach is Michael Allen going to be down the road?
Yeah, he's going to be I'm glad he's my roommate, and so I'm kind of already I'm already in his ear a little bit, hey dude, I would be a really good scout team quarterback one day when I'm old and I need a job, so just keep that in mind whenever you're a head coach. And so yeah, no, his football knowledge is probably way just super advanced for the average player to have, just because he sits in on all those meetings. Obviously, his relationship with his uncle. So just to have him kind of help me out, honestly, too, has been great for me.
Thank you, Sawyer.
Thanks, Sawyer.